Welcome to Firearms Friday from the Wyoming State Museum in Cheyenne. I'm Evan Green. I'm firearms historian for the museum. And what we're going to do today is the second in our series on the evolution of Colt handguns. Before I start, I just share some news from the museum with you. We recently posted the 75th Firearms Friday video. And I'm really grateful to the staff at the museum for the opportunity to do this amazing work that I enjoy so much, and to the loyal supporters and subscribers that regularly visit our Firearms Friday website. So, 75 videos, hard to believe. The other thing that's going on is that we recently opened a new firearms exhibit at the museum of about 30 firearms, all of which have a verified and documented link to events in Wyoming's history. And all of those firearms individually or in small groups were featured on Firearms Friday videos. So the other thing that happened in the last week is that a curator called me to ask to come look at some firearms. She said that they had been given to the museum by a local thrift store. It was like, okay, I need to shop at thrift stores more. But apparently these turned up in a donation that was not opened until the person leaving them had departed. Well, it turns out that two of the firearms weren't. They were replicas, decorative items, and not really very good representations of flintlock firearms, to the point that we will probably not even use them in some of our educational activities. The other one, on the other hand, was a very nice, well-preserved pepper box revolver, and I'll probably do a video on that one later. So, okay, moving along with Colt revolvers. This one here is a Richards conversion. This one is Richards Mason. And even though these are called conversions, because in many cases you will see they were built on the frame, barrel, and backstrap of the 1860 Colt Army. But these were, in fact, not conversions, because they were made in the later 1870s after Colt had introduced their single-action army with the top strap. Colt, like other manufacturers, was really reluctant to waste parts in stock. So both of these firearms, even though they're called conversions, they were assembled from leftover percussion revolver parts. And hammers were either replaced or modified, and this ring next to the recoil shield was newly manufactured and installed. A little bit different version. You can see this original Richards conversion has a sight on that ring, and the subsequent Richard Mason, this is 1877 era, this Richard Mason still has the old slot in the top of the hammer to act as a rear sight. So again, even though they are called conversions, they really are not conversions. They were newly manufactured firearms and saw extensive use on the American frontier. And in 1873, the Army was doing trials to select a new cartridge handgun. Even now, we're talking 8 years after the Civil War, there still had not been a full transition to cartridge handguns in the military. So this is what was eventually adopted. This is an 1874 model, and it is one of the most valuable handguns in the collection. I'm not supposed to say what it's worth, but a lot of money. And it's that way for a couple of reasons. One, it is all original. It has all its original parts. It is in quite good condition. And it has the U.S. stamp on the frame, which documents that it was a military purchase. and it falls in the serial number range of the single-action Army revolvers that were issued to the 7th Cavalry and put to use at the Battle of the Little Bighorn. Actually documenting Custer handguns or other firearms is incredibly difficult. If it can be done, obviously it adds an immense amount to the value of that gun. This one, really, there's no way to tell. It's possible, but I think, frankly, unlikely. So there we go with the next phase, and we're looking at the transition from percussion ignition systems on handguns to fixed cartridges. And these conversions were for fixed cartridges. And there was actually, I looked at a collection locally, and this guy had a Colt Navy revolver, one of the 1851 Colt Navy revolvers that had a Navy stamp on it. And doing a little research on that, it had been recalled to the factory, converted to a .38 caliber cartridge, and issued to the United States Navy. The value of that one is off the charts, but interesting. Okay. So we took a break there to bring out 3 more firearms. And what we have here are the civilian versions of the 1873 single-action Army revolver. The 4 3/4 inch barrel came in later and was specifically intended for the civilian population who was interested in Colt firearms. This one is caliber .32-20. The Colt was chambered in, over its lifespan, the Colt single-action Army was chambered in like 36 different cartridges. They weren't all different calibers, but different cartridges, everything from .22 long rifle to a .454 Boxer, I think was an English cartridge. So again, about 36 different cartridges. This one was .32-20. One of the reasons for the popularity of the Colt single action among the civilian population was that the .32-20, the .38-40, and the .44 cartridges were also available in Winchester lever-action rifles. In the 1873 Winchester and the 1892 Winchester were chambered, among other things, in those calibers. So you could carry one type of ammunition for both your handgun and your rifle. This one I like. This is the only Colt single-action Army that actually had a model name stamped on the barrel. It says Frontier 6-shooter on the barrel, and that was, again, that was only applied to firearms, Colt revolvers, that were chambered in .44-40. This one is particularly nice because it has these factory pearl grips, beautiful factory pearl grips, a lot of deep color in those, and the gun itself is in very good condition. So there was interest in double action revolvers, and this one is a model 1877 Colt double action. While it was not officially named by Colt, the distributors called it the Thunderer in .41 Colt caliber, was called the Lightning in the .38 caliber, and Rainmaker in the .32 caliber. These were popular. Again, you can see that it is a much smaller gun, easier to conceal and carry. Billy the Kid allegedly favored a .41 Colt double-action revolver. Thanks for watching. If you have comments, drop them below, or you can call the museum. They'll take a message, and I'll get back to you if you want to talk firearms or Wyoming history.